The wallet at the crossroads. Daniel had walked this road countless times before, yet that afternoon everything felt different. The sunlight fell heavily across the pavement, stretching shadows long and thin, like fingers trying to pull him into the past. The air was still, yet carried a strange weight, as if the world itself were holding its breath, observing quietly. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves, brushing them softly against each other, and Daniel could swear he felt the subtle heartbeat of the town around him, a rhythm both familiar and strange. He had wandered to the crossroads without much thought, following a familiar shortcut through the quiet edge of town, when something caught his eye. There, almost perfectly centered, lay a wallet. It seemed ordinary, worn leather, corners frayed, edges soft with age, yet something about it drew him closer, a subtle gravity he could not explain. He bent down, feeling the texture of the leather, and lifted it carefully. The wallet felt heavier than expected, not in weight, but in presence, as if it carried something unseen. He opened it slowly. Inside were a few folded bills, an identification card, and a photograph. A woman smiled from the picture, eyes bright and earnest, hair tied neatly with a deep red ribbon. Beneath it lay a small folded note, paper edges frayed by time. Daniel unfolded it carefully, feeling it quiver slightly in his hands. The note read, "If you find this wallet, you'll find more than you expect. But first, look inside yourself." He blinked, unsure if he should laugh or take it seriously. A riddle in a wallet, a prank, or something more. The words pressed lightly against his thoughts, lingering, refusing to leave. He looked up. 4 paths stretched from the crossroads. Each seemed to promise something, yet hide unknown challenges. To the left, the city, faintly buzzing with distant life, traffic, voices, smells of hot asphalt, and fast food. To the right, the woods, dark and quiet, branches casting long, irregular shadows straight ahead. The mountains rose, distant and majestic, jagged peaks piercing the horizon. Behind him, the familiar road he had just traveled, safe, predictable, comfortable. Daniel paused. The world seemed to hold its breath. Every instinct whispered differently. One part of him wanted to turn away, leave the wallet, pretend this never happened. Another part urged him forward, to take the path less traveled, though he could not articulate why. Some deeper part of himself demanded he step forward, confront the unknown, engage with the weight of this leather vessel in his hands. Minutes passed, stretching into an almost tangible silence. Sunlight softened, slipping slowly between leaves, a breeze carrying the faint scent of pine, earth, distant rain. He finally exhaled, pocketed the wallet, and stepped carefully onto the path leading into the woods. The forest welcomed him, quiet but alive. Each footstep sounded unusually loud, echoing through hollow spaces, roots, and stones. Every sound became distinct. The crackle of dried leaves, the scuttle of some unseen creature, the gentle rustle of wind through branches. His senses sharpened. He noticed patterns of bark, subtle glimmers of moss in shaded hollows, sunlight glinting across spider webs, dew droplets sparkling in stray beams. As he walked, memories surfaced unbidden. Childhood afternoons spent exploring backyards, first mistakes, first triumphs, regrets long buried. The wallet seemed to pulse slightly, sensing his reflections, acknowledging the weight of his thoughts, encouraging him to introspect. Each step became meditation, each breath a measure of self and time. The path grew denser, shadows deepening, sunlight breaking in shafts of gold through the canopy. Daniel pondered his life, choices he had made and avoided, consequences of inaction. The crossroads outside mirrored the crossroads within. Every step through the forest a step through memory, through decision, through reflection. Eventually, he came to a clearing where an ancient oak tree stood, immense, commanding, trunk wide, roots curling into the earth like veins of a great living creature. Under its shadow sat an old man, calm, attentive, carrying the quiet authority of someone who had seen countless lives. Daniel stopped, unsure, hesitant, yet compelled to move forward. "You found it," the old man said simply. Daniel's voice trembled. "The wallet." The man nodded slowly. Not everyone who comes to this crossroads understands what they hold. Some take only what they see. Some leave it behind. Few recognize the weight of choice. Few even pause. You paused. Daniel placed the wallet on the man's lap, feeling suddenly both light and heavy, unsure of what he was doing, yet certain he was meant to. I don't know why I picked it up," he admitted. "That is exactly why you did." People rarely act without reason, even when they cannot name it. Some call it instinct, others quiet understanding. The old man opened the wallet. Daniel's eyes widened. Inside, nothing. No bills, no fotografo, no note. The leather seemed heavier, yet hollow. "Where did they go?" Daniel whispered. "They were never here, not in the way you think. They existed only to lead you here, to this moment of reflection. The wallet is a vessel, not for things, but for choices. Choices, reflection, understanding." Daniel felt the enormity of what the note had meant. Look inside yourself. He had done that, step by step, footstep by footstep, unknowingly, through reflection, memory, regret, understanding. Daniel remained silent for a long moment, letting the weight of the old man's words sink in. The forest around them seemed to lean closer, listening, the rustle of leaves, distant bird calls, the soft whisper of wind, all mingled into a gentle, immersive symphony. Daniel's mind wandered through memories and possibilities, realizing how rarely he had truly paused, reflected, or understood his own choices. The old man's eyes met his calm, yet piercing. "You see," he said softly, "life is a series of crossroads. Not all are marked, not all are obvious. Sometimes the smallest act, the briefest hesitation, can determine the course of everything that follows. The wallet you found is meaningless on its own, but the reflection it demands is profound. It shows you yourself." Daniel nodded slowly. Words seemed inadequate, yet a sense of clarity emerged, subtle, like sunlight filtering through dense foliage. He realized that every path he had avoided, every shortcut taken, every decision ignored had brought him here, and that pause, that moment of curiosity and attention, had opened a window to something deeper. He stood, letting the forest embrace him. The air smelled faintly of pine and damp earth, of rain yet to come, of life quietly moving in ways unnoticed. Each breath was deliberate, measured. Each movement, step, shift of weight felt significant. The wallet in his pocket seemed to remind him. Choice is never trivial. Every action, hesitation, decision, reflection matters. He began walking again, leaving the clearing. The path wound deeper into the woods, twisting among ancient trees, over roots and stones. Shadows moved gently, dancing in sunlight patches. The forest was alive, yet patient, and Daniel felt his own mind slowing, stretching, aligning with the rhythm of the world around him. He thought of past mistakes, friendships neglected, opportunities ignored, words left unspoken. The wallet, empty though it was, seemed to absorb his thoughts. It held nothing tangible, yet contained everything that mattered: memory, reflection, potential, awareness. The weight of it was paradoxical, heavy and light at once, compelling him to move slowly, deliberately. After some time, the path opened onto a narrow stream, water rippling over smooth stones. Daniel knelt, letting his fingers touch the cool, clear water. He watched the sunlight glint on tiny eddies, each reflection like a miniature universe, fleeting yet persistent. He considered the flow of his own life, the unseen ripples caused by small acts. The wallet, now more symbol than object, seemed to echo the same lesson: the unseen influence of choices. He followed the stream a short distance, observing the subtle changes in the forest: moss-covered rocks, fallen branches, the occasional flutter of a bird. Each detail registered in his mind, not hurriedly, but fully, deeply, awareness settling into every corner of thought. Eventually, the path climbed slightly, revealing a hill with a clear view of the mountains ahead, jagged peaks, snow-dusted, gleaming in the fading sun. The vastness of the landscape pressed upon him gently, reminding him of the magnitude of the world beyond personal concerns. Yet it also reminded him of the smallness and importance of individual choices, the interweaving of personal reflection and universal continuity. Daniel paused, letting the wind touch his face, rustle his hair. He thought of the wallet again, its leather now warm against his palm. It had changed, not in form, but in meaning, a vessel of awareness, of potential, of attention paid. He smiled faintly, the first in many moments of deep contemplation. The sun began to lower, streaks of orange and violet painting the sky. Shadows lengthened. The forest became quieter, more intimate. Each sound seemed to carry significance: the flutter of a leaf, the soft chirp of an unseen bird, the distant hum of life beyond the trees. Daniel felt a growing sense of patience, of presence. He realized that the journey was not about reaching a destination, but about the way he moved through it, the awareness carried in each step. He descended slowly toward a small clearing, where wildflowers leaned toward the last light, their colors vivid, yet softened by the evening glow. He noticed the tiny movements of insects, the subtle tremble of petals in the breeze. All was alive, all was meaningful, and in the quiet he heard the faintest echo of the old man's words, reminding him: reflection matters, pause matters, attention matters. Daniel approached the center of the clearing, feeling the weight of choice again. He set the wallet gently on a smooth stone, not because it was required, but because he felt it was right. The forest seemed to acknowledge the gesture: the rustle of leaves, the sigh of wind, the distant call of a bird, all blending into a gentle affirmation. As he stood there, he realized how rarely he had allowed himself this time to simply notice, to breathe, to reflect. The wallet, once a small object lying on the ground, had become a teacher, a mirror, guide. Its emptiness was its lesson. Nothing tangible mattered as much as the internal journey it prompted. The sky darkened further, stars beginning to appear in the deepening blue. The clearing seemed sacred, suspended. Daniel felt both small and expansive, aware of his own significance and the vastness of the world around him. He thought of the paths behind him, each a metaphor: the city, the woods, the mountains, the familiar road. Each choice held lessons, each hesitation, insight. The crossroads existed not only in the world, but within every moment, every action. He knelt once more by the wallet, tracing the worn leather with his fingertips. Feeling its weight, he understood finally. The value was not in what it contained, but in what it inspired: thought, pause, reflection, moral awareness. Daniel rose, breathing deeply, feeling the rhythm of life around him, aligning his own heartbeat to the pulse of the forest. The path back unfolded before him slowly, each step deliberate, each breath conscious. The world was unchanged outwardly, yet everything within had shifted. Daniel felt a quiet resolve, a gentle clarity. The crossroads, the wallet, the journey through reflection, all had converged to create a space for understanding. The forest gradually thinned as Daniel walked, the fading light filtering through branches, casting long, dappled shadows on the ground. Every step felt measured, deliberate. The path ahead unfolded slowly, inviting reflection, patience. He noticed small details that had gone unnoticed before: the gentle curve of a branch, the glimmer of a distant insect, the subtle scent of damp earth. the whisper of leaves brushing against each other. Each sensation seemed amplified, as though the forest itself was teaching him attention. Daniel felt the weight of time, both heavy and light, pressing him to move slowly. He thought about the crossroads, the wallet, and the old man. Every lesson, subtle yet profound, lingered in his mind. Every pause deliberate, like a heartbeat echoing in the quiet. He remembered his life, the choices he had made, the ones he had avoided, regrets mingled with gratitude, missed chances, acts of kindness, small victories unnoticed. He realized that every moment carried consequence, every pause, reflection, hesitation mattered. The wallet had been a mirror, yes, but also a magnifier of thought, a vessel for awareness. The path led him to a narrow bridge over a gentle stream. Water rippled over stones, catching the fading sunlight in tiny, shimmering sparks. Daniel paused, letting his fingers brush the surface. Cool, alive, flowing, he considered the river as a metaphor, life moving inexorably forward, each action, choice, and reflection creating ripples. The wallet in his pocket seemed to echo the same lesson. Unseen effects, subtle guidance, the importance of attention. He crossed the bridge slowly, listening to the water beneath. The rhythmic murmur became a meditation. Thoughts flowed and settled, memories rising and falling. He recalled moments of courage, moments of inaction, the people he had loved, the people he had disappointed. Each memory felt like a small flame, illuminating paths within. Paths he had walked, paths he had avoided, paths yet to come. Daniel emerged from the forest edge as twilight deepened. The mountains loomed distant and serene. The city lights flickered faintly in the valley below, alive with movement, yet oblivious to the quiet journey that had transpired beyond its streets. He stopped, looking at the wallet once more. Its leather was warm, worn, familiar, significant. It had guided him through reflection, patience, awareness. It had taught him that the external world is mirrored by the internal, and that every action, pause, or hesitation carries weight. He began descending toward the town, each step slow, deliberate. Every sound seemed amplified. The whisper of wind, the distant call of night bird, the rustle of leaves, the soft hum of civilization. Each detail, however small, carried meaning. The wallet, resting against his chest, reminded him that understanding is cultivated, not granted, that reflection is a practice, an exercise of attention and care. As he approached familiar streets, Daniel noticed nuances he had never seen. The uneven sidewalk, the faint smell of bakery bread, the distant laugh of children playing. Life moved as it always did, yet he experienced it differently, more fully, more consciously. Each detail became a small revelation, each sound a meditation, each shadow a lesson in observation. He walked slowly past the crossroads where it had all begun, the place where curiosity had met destiny, where a simple act of picking up a wallet had unfolded into a journey of reflection. Daniel paused, inhaling deeply, feeling the weight of choice, the significance of awareness, the quiet power of introspection. The streets seemed to acknowledge him, the city quiet and attentive, aware in ways unseen. Reaching home, he sat quietly, wallet resting gently beside him, not as a holder of money or images, but as a teacher, a mirror, a guide. Its emptiness now felt full, filled with lessons, reflection, moral insight, the quiet realization of the importance of pause, choice, and awareness. Daniel considered the day, the journey, the crossroads, the forest, the stream, the mountains, the old man, the wallet. All had converged to create understanding, a subtle, powerful shift in perception. Night deepened, stars scattered across the sky. Daniel felt a sense of peace, a quiet clarity. He realized that the crossroads existed not only outside, but within every action, hesitation, reflection, a universe of meaning. The wallet had been a vessel for awareness, a guide through moral reflection, a teacher of patience, observation, and internal balance. He lay down, eyes toward the sky, breathing slowly, deeply, thinking of the journey. He understood that reflection is never finished. The crossroads always exists within, every day, in every decision. The lessons of the wallet, attention, pause, reflection, moral awareness, would remain with him, a quiet compass in the noise of life. Tomorrow, the streets would bustle, unaware. The crossroads would stand ready, waiting, and Daniel, having walked, paused, observed, reflected, understood, would carry the weight and lightness of that day. The subtle, profound balance between action and reflection. He closed his eyes, letting sleep embrace him, carrying the stillness, the lessons, the moral compass within. And somewhere, faintly, he felt the whisper of the crossroads, patient, eternal, waiting for the next soul willing to pause, to notice, to look inside. Title: